And thou shalt say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. This is what the Lord God of Israel said to Moses, instructing Moses how to speak to Pharaoh. Let me read one sentence again. Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. I'm sure you remember the line, let my people go. But did you remember that God gave the reason? That they might serve me in the wilderness. This is speaking of worship in the Old Testament. The bondage of masturbation combined with pornography and or any other form of sexual sin to which a man becomes addicted. That's a Pharaoh keeping you in bondage. Or perhaps you were in such bondage and remember what it was like. I do remember. It was dark, and it was bondage to an evil master. The demons of the passion of fornication working in conjunction with me and my weaknesses. Although there are many forms this passion of fornication, as it's called classically, can take, getting out of it has only one purpose. As far as I'm concerned, as far as viewers of this channel are concerned, and that purpose is to worship God in the wilderness, to serve God in the wilderness. In other words, to love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself, who you see as God. For each man, woman, and child is an icon of Jesus Christ. If you wish to get free of this passion, or you have seen its hold drastically weaken on your life, but you're not aiming at let's go serve God in the wilderness, then you're not watching the right channel. I have news for you. And you can find another channel, which is fine with me, and God bless you on your way. But for those of you who are committed listeners and consumers of what my humility and weakness requires me to say, desiring to be truthful and also loving towards God and my fellow man, if you're here, it means that the focus of your life in some way, which you may understand or may not understand, or have some understanding and some lack of understanding, some light, some darkness, but you have a sense that your calling is to serve God in the wilderness. That's what really brought you to this channel. Becoming a sexually continent man, learning to possess your vessel in sanctity and honor is so that you can go worship God in the wilderness. Getting free of that Pharaoh, bondage to sin, self, and Satan, is so you, along with me, friends and brothers, can go into the wilderness where God has called us to serve him. Thank you very much for watching. And I invite you to consider, are you retaining your semen? Are you becoming a sexually continent man? Are you giving up all of your sexual misconduct, whether with yourself or others or in your own mind? Are you giving that up in order to go worship God in the wilderness? Are your motives high enough? Are you aiming high enough in your life? The higher you aim, and the more completely, the easier it is to retain your seed. Becomes an epiphenomenon of your commitment to go worship God in the wilderness, to go serve God in the wilderness, to love your neighbor as yourself. Saint Thalassius the Libyan so brilliantly wrote, strive to love every man equally, and you will drive all of the passions out of yourself. In other words, the key to self-purification from this passion and all others is the endeavor to love every man equally. That will teach you to be dispassionate. That will have you victorious over the passions. And this one, by the way, is not so strong as people think. It just isn't. And please stop being afraid. Whether it's pornography, masturbation, whatever it is that is flavored a dark history of sexual past. And there are some very dark flavorings. There's child molestation. There's experiencing sexual abuse at the hands of your own father. There's some pretty dark pasts to have had with respect to sexual misconduct. Having one parent unconsciously enable the other in decades of sexual abuse inside an ostensibly Christian family. Loving to hold itself forth in the community as a paragon of virtue. Do you imagine what a terrifying bondage to that Pharaoh is? Yes, but there's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And he's calling us to go worship and serve him in the wilderness. So there's not anything that's going to hold us back or keep us down from that ultimate commitment, because the love of God is calling us to serve us, which is what a grateful heart wishes to do: to love, to serve, to give. So, friends and brothers, let us go worship God. Let us go serve God in the wilderness. And let us become sexually continent men, such that we may be worthy of precisely this service. Goodbye.